Hello, nice to see you at AutoEnter Live. I don't know how about you, but for me, after the COVID break, the last 12 months-ish have been the most inspiring year in my life so far. Does anyone of you have a similar experience? For those of you who don't know me yet, I am HOnza Koudelka, and my company is 2 4U, based in Prague in the heart of Europe. Our company exists since 2000 when my friend and I got the great idea to name it 2 for You after the two of us and you as a customers. Since then, we grew to about 50 people and customers in 76 countries. Our primary business focus has always been to create custom apps for our customers. We use not only, but mostly the Claris FileMaker platform to provide results fast, but we also combine various technologies such as different databases, web apps, mobile devices, Mac, Windows, Linux, Raspberry Pi, and more. In order to provide redundancy and reliability, we always assign at least 2 developers to every project that we work on and employ full-time software testers to make sure our software works right. Our FileMaker experience goes beyond the company existence. I personally work with it as a developer since 1991, for 31 years already. We have presented at 29 international events and created 28 FileMaker plugins since 2001. As a Platinum Claris partner with 5 developers certified in at least FileMaker 18, we maintain a high level of expertise and consult even for other Claris partners, including expert advice on FileMaker licensing. Most projects we work on include at least one of these areas of expertise. We integrate hardware and software or different software systems together. We do performance testing and optimization of not only FileMaker solutions but other apps as well. And we also maintain and provide ongoing development for existing apps. In 2008, we started making FileMaker and later other software as well, able to gather data from the physical world and to control the physical world with data. Since then, we integrated various environmental sensors, barcode scanners, RFID and NFC readers, telephones, security dongles, printers, payment terminals, weighing scales, servo and stepper motors and actuators, medical devices, LED and LCD indicators and displays, and custom hardware solutions built with fidgets, Raspberry Pi, and Arduino components. In 2010, 12 years ago, we started testing and optimizing performance of FileMaker solutions, with coming up with some marvelous optimizations and marvelous optimization formulas, I call it. 2 years later, we released the first version of FM Bench, our tool that anyone can use to benchmark their solution, identify bottlenecks, and optimize them. And another year later, I started regularly testing and comparing performance of different development techniques, versions of FileMaker, and different configurations. Since then, I also became known as the mad optimizer because I am really mad about optimizations, and I always say that everything can be optimized. Even if you think you have optimized your solution, I believe I can make it run even faster than you have done. So that's about optimizations, but more than half of all projects that we have worked on started somewhere else. Customers very often come to us with all the existing solutions and apps where the original developers are either no longer available or do not have enough expertise or capacity to take care of all their jobs and tasks going forward. So we take over and provide the necessary support, advice, development capacity, simply whatever is needed to keep their business critical solutions operational and up to date. We have service level agreements with customers from North America, Africa, Europe, Australia, and all different time zones around the globe. But let me tell you more about some projects that we worked on in the last 12 months, which I found so far to be the most inspiring year ever. Let me start with Traxy, our complete software and hardware solution for tracking and locating goods, assets, orders, people, whatever, within controlled space such as warehouse or manufacturing facility. Traxy uses RFID to know where things are, so you can focus on your business and not waste time by scanning barcodes individually or looking for lost stuff. We already implemented parts of Traxy even before it was finally released last year for our customers in Africa and Massachusetts, United States. In Africa, this is used for a solution that we have a couple of years already that helps them to track purchases of crops and track everything from purchasing the crops from farmers to delivering to the store. And as an update this year, we implemented automated RFID tracking and are working on an inventory module that will automatically update inventory when you bring stuff out or into the warehouse. Similarly, in the American customer, we are working on tracking orders throughout the manufacturing facility. So every single order starts by adding it to the system, and then RFID antennas and readers are tracking where every order is throughout the day, throughout the process, until it gets to shipping. For a medical clinic from Moldova, we finished a completely new information system that replaces their legacy system made by ACFA. The system is not just a database solution, it has voice-over IP telephone integrated to make a call center's processes more efficient. But most importantly, we also made it talk to the clinic's medical devices such as magnetic resonance, ultrasound, or laboratory equipment, to eliminate inefficiencies and human errors during double data entry. Another customer of ours is also a Claris partner, and they are a digital transformation leader in Lithuania. They even motivate their customers to be proactive in digital transformation and automation by awarding them prizes. We help them with optimizations and integrations. Just within the little bit of over a year, we help them to integrate their app with Active Directory, Microsoft Azure, Microsoft SharePoint, Microsoft Graph, Microsoft Exchange, Office 365, electronic invoices, and local electronic document signing system in Lithuania. But most interesting project with this customer was Doc Generator. That's a standalone service able to read and modify Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel documents. The tool lets you take a template with mail merge keywords and replace them with your own data in fraction of a second. The customer used to use the Scribe plugin for this in the past, but they were looking for a fast and scalable solution without dependency on Java. As a standalone service, Doc Generator can be deployed as part of a separate Docker container and easily scaled by spinning up multiple instances. With Doc Generator, they can simply install one instance of FileMaker Server and use it with multiple instances of Doc Generator, or they can also use one instance of Doc Generator with multiple instances of FileMaker Server. And because Doc Generator runs on its own environment, there are no common dependencies, so updating FileMaker Server doesn't break Doc Generator, and updating Doc Generator doesn't break FileMaker Server. They even use it to modify Excel files in some fancy ways, such as locking cells or areas in the document, or changing or reading data back from the Excel file to FileMaker. So as an example, they can provide an Excel file pre-filled with data to their customers or users, let them modify the Excel files, and then read the data from the modified Excel files back to FileMaker. Another Claris partner asked us for help with a hardware integration for their customer. They were optimizing their package shipping process and wanted to get a photo of each shipment captured from multiple angles at exactly the same time with a single tap on the iPad screen. So we found the suitable hardware components and built a solution using Raspberry Pi with USB webcams that can be triggered from their FileMaker app. We also had to work around camera speed and USB cable length limits. We just recently finished this solution and it's now getting implemented by the other Claris partner to the solution. Another interesting hardware project came to us from Sweden. The customer had a FileMaker database of various tobacco flavoring recipes and wanted to automate their mixing to save time and avoid inaccuracies. We chose to use Raspberry Pi for this project as well, facing some unique challenges. One was to connect about 25 pumps with as few cables as possible. So we decided to use Modbus, which can be daisy-chained. And so all the pumps can get connected to a single Raspberry Pi with a single cable. The next one was to make the solution as reliable and safe as possible. We were dealing with liquids, and we definitely didn't want them to leak in case of lost communication or other issues. So we had to make the solution able to safely finish or stop the operation in such cases. We even added an emergency stop button to make the operator able to stop the system at any time without any hassle. Now the system, when the FileMaker stops communicating with it, can automatically finish or stop the operation, and the hardware button for emergency stop is directly connected to the Raspberry Pi, so even if the network stops working, it's reliably able to stop all the pumps. We also configure the pumps so that when a connection between the pumps and the Raspberry Pi is lost, the pumps will automatically stop after a certain amount of time. And to accurately get the correct mix of ingredients, we are also constantly monitoring the scale, and we slow down the pumps as the total weight is getting close to the target so that we don't overfill the container. Now, one of the most undervalued features of the Claris FileMaker platform is the ability to build native iOS and iPadOS apps. This is partially caused by the complexity of the developer tools and procedures needed for this. So back in 2018, we released an online service that simplifies and automates most of the process, making you able to build native iOS or iPadOS app from your FileMaker solution simply by dragging it to a web form, clicking on a button and waiting a few minutes. Last year, we made the tool even easier by adding some extra features, including the possibility to add our plugins simply by clicking on checkboxes. But there was one more challenge left: how to get the Apple developer account set up and how to get the native app to their end users, either via the App Store or different way. So this spring, with the kind help from Richard Carlton and his FM Training TV, I delivered 5 live stream sessions explaining the whole process step by step. I even got my app published on the App Store just during the course, during that week. And the best part, in the end of the first day session, as an unplanned surprise, I got my native app built using FileMaker installed from the App Store on my MacBook Pro with the M1 processor. Finally, let me talk a bit about performance optimization. As previously mentioned, we do this since 2010, but this year one of our optimization projects stands out a little bit. This is still a job in progress. We are just finishing it now for a customer from Australia. We built a web portal for his solution last year and connected it to his database using FileMaker Data API. But his clients were not happy with some pages taking about 7 seconds to load. Unlike other optimization projects where most of our work is focused on the FileMaker side, here we have to work on both sides. We started by discovering that we are making 2 HTTP requests to the data API in order to get the data to display. So we started by optimizing the way how the data are calculated and in 2 attempts cut the load time down to about 6 seconds. We also found out that one of the requests is mostly getting data that do not get updated very often. So we added a caching mechanism for that and could completely eliminate one of the 2 requests, cutting the load time down to around 3 seconds. And finally, this was the biggest surprise. The most interesting discovery was that although the client always thought he had his web server hosted in the same data center as his FileMaker server in Australia, the web server was actually hosted in the United States. So as the last step, we are going to transfer the web part of the app to Australia, to the same data center he has the FileMaker server in the city where he lives. And based on our preliminary measures, our expectation is that we will get the load time down to a little bit more than 1 second. So let me end with the most recent and most exciting stuff. The latest Performance Lab meeting where I presented my fresh results of testing FileMaker 19.5 and another FM training TV live stream session. I was a guest of 2 days later with even fresher update on the topic. FileMaker 19.5 was released last month, and in addition to including about 400 bug fixes, it also brought some performance improvements. The most significant of them was the ability to calculate summary fields on the server. This only happens when certain conditions are met, such as when the data is not yet downloaded to the local cache, when both FileMaker client and the FileMaker server are 19.5 or later, or when the number of records you are summarizing is at least 25. So when this happens, when the conditions are met and FileMaker actually does calculate the summary fields on server, the performance boost can actually blow your mind. As an example, when I simulated a not so good ADSL connection and calculated a total from 10,000 records, FileMaker 19.5 gave me the result 341 times faster than FileMaker 19.4. And that's really something, isn't it? Okay, so that's it for now. I hope that at least some of the projects that we worked on were as inspiring for you as they were for me. And if you already have something to ask or discuss, I'm here. If you watch this pre-recorded session at the scheduled time, I'm here for you, ready to answer your questions. Otherwise, feel free to check our news on our website, subscribe for the newsletter, or schedule a call with me at doforyousw.com/tt. There you can pick any time in my calendar and schedule a one-to-one call with me to discuss any topic you like. Now I'm ready for your questions.